think it's very important that you guys know the different options you guys have as career paths. So what is freelance or gig work? So freelance is basically one where a person works for themselves rather than for a company. And you're not really considered an employee of a company, but a contractor. So it basically means that you take on contract work for companies or organizations, but you're still ultimately self-employed. So we're basically going to focus on how to apply to freelance jobs on 2 websites, which is Upwork and TopTal. So I have some general tips applicable to any job or any career you're applying to. You basically need to have an updated and well-formatted resume that is tailored to the job you're applying for and a professional-looking photo. So the resume goes along with what we've been trying to do with the resume critiquing. Each job will thoroughly look at your resume and basically can determine whether or not they will hire you just based off of how your resume is formatted and what it looks like. So a resume, it must be properly formatted and updated with your most recent experiences. We recommend that you include the 10 Academy training because it only makes you seem as look like a more applicable candidate for a lot of jobs, and it shows that you've undergone technical training. And you also want to tailor it to the job you're applying for. So all your relevant experiences, your skills should all be tailored to the type of job you're applying for. So if you're applying for a data science job, you don't want to have experiences that aren't really applicable. So maybe like, I don't know, a teaching experience won't really be as applicable to a data science job compared to you like putting different trainings that you've done, different courses, which would really help. You should make sure you add a cover letter if requested. A cover letter basically is just a page long, um, article about yourself that a lot of businesses require that basically ask you why you're a great fit for the job, what experiences you have. So it kind of rehashes your resume, but in a way that they can quickly just read it. And we want to try to keep the resume to 1 to 2 pages max. Does anyone have any questions so far?
Hello.
Yes.
So, how does someone? You said you should include 10 academic training. So, can you give like a description or an example of that? Like, how are you going to include the 10 academic training and stuff like that?
Yes. You can either put the 10 Academy training. I know a lot of people have like on their resume they have like training and experiences or other courses they've taken. You can either put it there, or if you really want to go more in depth to talk about your challenges and different things you've completed, you can also just put it as a normal experience. You can just put 10 Academy and then put as a position that you were in. You can just put a data science trainee or like a junior data scientist, and then you can also put underneath like as the bullet points. You can probably put like anything you did um, in your challenges or like enhanced data science skills, like enhanced skills in web scraping and different things like that. I know a few of you guys do have 10 Academy training on your resume. I don't remember who had one, but it was really well worded and very well written. So if I can find it, I can maybe send it to you guys so you guys can see how it should be tailored in. But it can just be like a regular experience, or you can just put it under your training if you want, depending on how much room you have on your resume. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So for the professional photos, so these are the guidelines essentially that all companies have for professional looking photos. So your face must be clearly visible. You must have a neutral background, smile, and wear business professional clothing. So these are all examples of different pictures and whether they are good or bad in terms of, especially this is taken from the Upwork website. So this is like their guidelines and regulations, but either way, this is like a general guideline that you should follow for any business you're applying to. So for the first one, they say it's a bad photo composition due to the fact that she's not looking at the camera and there's poor lighting. But the second one is a good photo composition due to the good lighting and she's facing the camera. The third one isn't a good photo composition due to the fact that it's too much of the body. You just want to kind of crop into your face so they can see you closer. The fourth one is good because it's like a clean background and cropped around the face. The second line, the first one's bad because there's too much body and there's too much clutter around his background. Second one is good because it's framed around his face and it's a good lighting, simple background. The third one's bad because the attire's too casual. Eyes are covered by sunglasses. You can't really see her face, and it's not like close enough. And then the fourth one's good because it's professional attire. She's smiling. She's looking at the camera. The background is very neutral. So just keep this in mind when you go to taking your professional photos and uploading it to these websites because they really make a difference. A lot of like employers and potential contractors will look at your photo and basically sometimes determine whether or not they want to hire you. So we're moving on to tips that are specifically for Upwork. So for Upwork, you must first complete your profile and it has to be approved by Upwork. And then after approval, you can start applying for the jobs. So I'm going to start talking about how you complete your profile and the steps that you go through in order to complete it. So these are just general profile tips for Upwork. You want to make sure you have your profile really showcases your best skills and that you're really concise and avoid any pointless information. And you need to make sure that you take time to make it so you can properly describe your skills and any relevant experience, and just make sure that it's in the best state it can possibly be. So for your profile, for the best chance of acceptance, you must fully complete your profile according to the Upwork website. There's many sections. Only 60% of sections are required, but they state that if you have a better chance of getting accepted onto the network if you do 100% of the items. So for the required portion, you need a profile picture, a profile title, overview, employment history, and at least one skill tag. So skill tags are basically just like what you guys are skilled in. So like Python, any like programming languages, anything like that, like communication, reporting, any of those skills. Like you just need at least one of them. But I mean, I recommend more than one just to like give potential contractors a full view of your skill set. But then the optional ones, which is any combination of these items on the right, can be used to make up 40% of your application. So you could have a portfolio item, employment history item, add your education, a profile video that just introduces yourself, linking your GitHub, or like I know one of you guys have like a website that just shows all your just portfolios, projects, everything you have. Like that would be a good account to link. Any certifications from like Coursera, Udemy, anything like that. Any other experience you have that's not really relevant to data science, but might be helpful. And then skills test credit, but also they don't have the skill. I should probably remove that. They don't have skills tests anymore. They removed it last month because they didn't really think it showed how valuable a person. But either way, each of these things are really important. Your profile title is basically like maybe like aspiring data science, anything that just kind of sells yourself to like what you can do and what you want to be hired as. So we're gonna move on to your portfolio because one of the most important parts of your profile, because like the overview and everything else is like okay, but like portfolio is one of the most important parts. So for your portfolio, you want to make sure you only upload relevant things and that you showcase your best skills. So it's kind of equivalent to the profiles that we're trying to make for you guys on the Tech Academy website with the visual aids that we have. So you really want to make sure that you leverage it creatively, like using like screenshots and different things like that to try to showcase like what you can do. So I have a question to open up to you guys. What are things that you guys can add from your weekly challenges to your portfolio? Hello.
Hello?
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Okay, hello.
Yeah.
I think weekly challenge you have learned about how to work under pressure and also manage time because you have to complete a task within 1 week. You have to learn everything within 1 week and everything, and you have to submit something that is tangible. So I think working under pressure is something I've learned during this weekly challenge and under 10 Academy. And also the ability to communicate with people and also to interact with people. I think one of the challenges, I think last week we worked among ourselves within a team, so we formed a team and then we communicated. And that's something that I've actually learned working in this weekly challenge in 10 Academy. That's just my.
Yes. And also, to go off of what you said, that would be a good, because for each portfolio item that you produce, they say it's a good idea to just provide like additional information, so they kind of get a full picture of what's going on. So like from your weekly challenges, if you put any of the challenges on your portfolio, like any screenshots of like the results section or any just sample of your writing, you can put like, we had to complete this under a week. We learned like communication skills, and we learned how to like quickly and efficiently put together this like project, which would be a good thing that potential employers will see, and they'll be like, oh, okay, they can work well under pressure and produce like very good material. Um, does anyone else have anything to add? Okay. So you want to make sure you leverage your portfolio creatively. So with screenshots, results, like even testimonials of your work is very good. So anyone, if people have, I know some people posted, have produced and been published on Medium. Like that's another thing that you can add here. And then samples just of your work. You also, as I stated before, provide additional information for each item. So you just want to paint a clear picture of what your role was for any of your projects, and but also make sure it's like short and concise and gets to the point. Like don't overdo it, but just make sure you're really concise. You tell them what you did, how you did it, why you did it, and like the outcome. And then a third point is to make sure you update your portfolio regularly. This is just like a future tip, but in general, as you keep updating your work, you want to keep updating your portfolio. It's the same concept with your resume. As you keep getting more experience, you want to replace old experiences with new ones that show how you've grown as a person and how you developed, and make you seem as a better candidate, if that makes sense. Because you don't really want old experiences, especially because new ones are most oftentimes better than the old ones, and they showcase you in a better light. Especially in your portfolio, different projects. Like as you become better at it, and as you grow and develop in data science, you obviously will become stronger in your skills. So you want to show your strongest skill set to potential employers. Does anyone have any questions about your portfolio? Great. And also, if you guys also have questions, you can also put it in the chat and I'll get to it after I'm done with the presentation. It's just hard to keep switching back from the screens because I'm not really familiar with presenting with slides and on Google Hangout. Okay, so landing a job, the job proposal. So your profile, your resume, and your job proposal basically go hand in hand. You need all three in order to land a job on Upwork or any of these freelancing websites. So for the job proposal, you have to on Upwork, you have to send your potential clients a compelling job proposal in order to even get a job. So anytime you want to apply for a job, you send them a job proposal, your resume, and then they see your Upwork profile, which is like another mini resume when they get your job proposal. So it also increases the likelihood of you getting an interview if you have a very compelling job proposal. So in order to write a compelling job proposal, I've scoured various websites and talked to many different people that work at Upwork, and they've like said kind of like consistently these things are really important. They said that you need to make sure you pay attention to project prerequisites. So if a project says they need someone to be able to do ABC, you also need to be able to do ABC. Like don't try to apply to projects that are out of your comfort zone, out of your skill set, to make sure you're able to do what the project and needs you to do. And make sure that your job proposal is written in a professional manner, it's concise, and make sure it's very well written, no grammar errors. It just also highlights you and highlights the job and what you can bring to the table. And make sure it's like they said, like around 3 paragraphs max is like what they recommend, because when it's too long, they won't read it. If it's too short, they think you're not interested. So keep it to around 3 paragraphs, and just have people review it, have people check it for grammar mistakes, just to make sure it flows well, make sure it sounds good. So just make sure you have people check it, double check it, triple check it, to make sure you have a really compelling job proposal. And they recommend like not using it as template. Like every single time you submit a job proposal, don't use the same exact template, because you want to tailor it to each job you're seeking, and like your potential client will know if you just use a template, because it's not really gonna be tailored to like the job prerequisites and like the questions they have and like their concerns. So make sure you like also research the client, answer the client's questions and concerns they discuss in the job description, and clearly show that you're a right fit for a job. Like bring in like, oh, I have experience doing this. Like I did this on a project like X number of years ago. I've also done something similar to this like last year, like different things like that, to just show that you are very capable for the job and that you are ready to take it on. Any questions about job proposals? Okay. So we're moving on to a different freelancing site. I know most of you will probably end up applying for Upwork. TopTal is a more competitive website, but a lot of you guys still will be able to apply and probably make it to TopTal as well, from seeing like the talent that you guys have. So a brief intro about TopTal is that it only accepts freelancers who have had years of experience. But I mean, that's what I've seen. But also, if you can do the work, they'll still hire you. And it accepts 3% of the applicants. So this is like TopTal stands for like top talent. So they only accept basically some of the most talented um, people, like freelancers, for this type of work. But also, this is not just for like, I mean, maybe you guys can't apply now, but in a couple years, you'll probably be able to apply to TopTal as well. So just to make sure you guys know about your options, and just kind of so you guys can see what it takes to get into TopTal as well, because it's a very different process than Upwork. The TopTal application process is very similar to applying to like American tech giants like Google or Amazon. So you have a phone interview, a technical screening and a code challenge, a whiteboard programming, and a demo project. So for the phone interview, only 26% of the applicants pass that, and only 3% of the applicants pass the whiteboard programming. And they basically just cut people after each stage. The phone interview is mostly to test your English skills and to see your motivation of applying, because they get a lot of applicants like all over the world, not a lot of Americans. So they have the phone interview to basically test your English skills, and just kind of want to see like where you stand and your skills as well. And you should basically know during your phone interview your proposed hourly rates in the time that you have available to work. So for the technical screening, yes, yes,
Hello. Say we should know your proposed hourly rates plus time available
yes.
to work. So is there okay. So basically is there like a baseline? Is there any baseline, or is there anyone that's
Yeah. See, I'm not quite sure what the baseline is, but send me an email and I can look it up for you and tell you like a baseline of what we normally do. Because I'm not quite sure what the proposed baseline is and what would be considered too low and too high. But send me an email and I can look that up for you. And I'll call them and ask what is a typical baseline. And for
okay?
the time available, I think that's also just dependent on your schedule.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um, Moving on to technical screening and the code challenges. So they basically use a platform called Codility, and you need knowledge of algorithms and data structures in order to complete any of the technical challenges. I also have a handout to go along with this whole tutorial I can email it to all of you guys. And it has the sample test. There's like a sample test link on the handout that I found for like a sample test on Codility. So I can just send you guys the handout, and then you can see the sample test link available on the handout as well to just see what the challenge would entail and how it would look like. So for the whiteboard programming section of the application process, it basically involves solving timed programming challenges live in an interview with a top talent representative who will basically be monitoring you while you do it. And they'll also ask you how you arrived at all your solutions in the code screening portion, code screening portion before on this. So basically in this section, you need to make sure that you know how you arrived to all your solutions in the technical screening portion, and then you need to make sure that you're really strong in your skills, that you're able to basically program live with a top talent representative who's like monitoring you and seeing what you're doing, and to not feel pressured or to feel nervous while they're watching you, because that'll make you make mistakes, but just to be confident in your skills, confident in your coding, and to be able to get through it. And then for the last portion of their application process, they have a demo project. So it's just basically a project with a 2-week deadline, and it's tailored to whatever role you're applying to. In general, all these freelancing jobs have there's so many different jobs you can do. There's marketing, there's data science, there's coding. So being a freelancer isn't just limited. There's so many different avenues you can go through, so many different things that people need freelancers for. So this project is basically tailored to whatever role you're applying to. So if you're applying for a coder, it's gonna be a coding job. If you're applying for marketing, which I'm assuming none of you are, but it'll be like a marketing job. So basically freelancing is for like anything. It's not just for like data science, but it's also really helpful because you can do so many different jobs and there's so many different options. So that's it with my presentation. And I'm now going to open it up to questions. Also, you guys can always just email me as well if you have any questions about this presentation. But let me go and see if there's any questions. Does anyone have any questions about the presentation, about freelancing work, about Upwork, anything like that? You can also put it in the chat if you don't want to talk as well. Teams are allowed on Upwork. Okay. Teams are not allowed on Upwork. Basically, you are applying as an individual to tackle different things or to get hired. So it's not a team event. It's basically like individuals applying. And can we set up a profile now? You can set up your profile now. You can set up a profile anytime you want. We just want to give you a good basis on what you need to know and what you need to do in order to set up a profile. We can even help you if you need any help or guidance with that, with your like overview or anything like that. So you can set up a profile right now. You're very capable of doing so, especially if you have an updated resume, which I think I received your most updated resume. So if I did, you can apply. What level of experience do you need to have before you apply? The level of experience varies. For TopTal, you need at least like a year or two. But for Upwork, it doesn't really matter. The experience you're gaining now through like the weekly challenges is applicable to your experience sector, and also different courses you've taken, other experiences you may have on your resume is all applicable. It really depends on the type of job they're asking for, because the jobs vary in level of difficulty and level of experience they're looking for. So some of them don't require much experience at all.
Hello. Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Okay. First of all, I would like to appreciate. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello.
Hello. On my resume, was actually fine and detailed. And also the question is for Upwork, I heard that the selection is quite very hard. Like if you upload your profile, you get rejected. Like the rejection rate is quite high. So what do you have to say about that? And how can we, data scientists and an academic fellow, get accepted?
I know I've been reading a lot about Upwork, and I talked to the Upwork representative about their rejections, and they said most of the people who get rejected don't fully fill out the profile. So I feel like if you guys fill out the profile to the best of your ability, 100%, and put all your skills, have an updated resume, have a very strong overview and portfolio, plus a very good professional photo, you should be fine. Especially with the skills that you're gaining, you should be able to get accepted into Upwork. But then getting accepted in Upwork and getting a job on Upwork is two totally different things. Because it's a freelancing website, you can get accepted onto Upwork, but then you have to do the job proposals and like talk to clients in order to get a job on Upwork, which is also very difficult sometimes. That part is the most difficult part I've been seeing. But also I think if you have to do many job proposals, you can't just do one. You have to do like 10 to like 15 in order to get results I've seen. Yes.
Hello. Okay, please, can you share us? Can you share some resources with us, like
Yes.
basically
Yeah, I have.
some resources with us that
Sorry,
help
I
us?
have a handout that goes along with this that has a bunch of links that you guys can go to. So I could send them. I think I'm just gonna send them to all of 10 Academy. I was just gonna send them to you guys, but I can send it to everyone. And it just basically has like my tips, but it's all formatted onto like a handout. And it has like links and different things as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Can you add it to the weekly folder too? Yes, I can add it to the weekly folder. Let me write that down right now. I'll give it to Prosper. Okay. Add to weekly folder. Okay. Yeah, I'll add it to the weekly folder. I'll tell Prosper to add it. Okay. Can you give a stream on how to write a better proposal? Um, hmm. Training on how to write a better proposal. I think maybe we can have a tutorial that revolves around that. And we could just do like a mock one, based on a fake client and try to see how we would construct a proposal. I'll suggest that to Aaron and see what he says. Right. Because that actually writing a good job proposal is kind of hard to get at the first time you do it, because you have to basically tailor it to each job you're doing and make sure it's like concise and to the point and showcases your best attributes without going too overboard. So I'll see if we could do like a tutorial on that. And then, okay. Yes. So for writing a personal overview, they basically suggest that you do an 1,000-character overview. So I think that's about a paragraph that just gives them an introduction to who you are, what you can do, and what you're passionate about. So a good one, some of you guys have on your resumes like an overview. Okay, some of the resources that we put for the resumes, they have like good overviews, like um, motivated data scientist that's proficient in Python, Java, CSS, just things like that to just showcase like a short overview that just shows like who you are, what you can do. That if they just glance at it, they kind of have an idea. But I can also, that's also on the handout. I went more in depth about how you can write a good overview, but it's basically just being like short to the point, like what you can do, where you're from, and what you do, essentially. Let me see. Are there any more questions about any more questions? Overall, do you guys want a training on how to write a job proposal? Would that be a good tutorial to have? Like, would a lot of people attend?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Oh, and my last name is Ungo. To how you pronounce it, it's Ungo. So, yes. Okay, so I'll bring up the how to write a job proposal training to Aaron, and I also have add the handout to a weekly folder instead of emailing it to you guys. Or I don't know if you guys want to do both. Want me to do both? Or what would be more beneficial?
Both is
Okay,
better.
both. Okay. So I'll do that as well. So any last questions? Concerns? Thank you. Okay, thank you guys for coming to my tutorial. Hope it was helpful for you guys to just get a glimpse into what freelancing is about, how you could start building your freelancing profiles if you want to go that route as well, and just to see different job options available.
The last question.
Yes.
Does LinkedIn profile actually affect? What do you have to say about LinkedIn profile? LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Okay. I mean, I think LinkedIn is a very good tool to find jobs. It's very beneficial. I know a lot of people who have used it to find a job. Um, I know a lot of people have used it to find a job. It's really good to connect with people and network. I actually recommend people making LinkedIn because it can be very beneficial in the future, if not now. And it allows you to stay in contact with people. So especially people in your 10 Academy class, if everyone makes a LinkedIn and connects with them, you guys can always just kind of see what everyone's doing in a professional setting as well. And you can connect with 10 Academy on LinkedIn. You can connect with like the other 10 Academy teachers or on LinkedIn as well. So I think it's a really beneficial tool, and it can help you get jobs as well. They have like you can email. It also kind of shows your profile, so it showcases you. It basically like an Upwork profile because you have like your education, your skills, what you do, your experience. It's like a mini resume. I think it's a very good tool to have, and you can link it on your resumes as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay. Okay, thank you everyone for coming. I'll get you guys the resources and hopefully it'll be more helpful. If that's it, does anyone have any last questions, concerns? Okay.
Oh, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I tried typing it in, so it didn't go. So I'm trying to message someone on LinkedIn. I don't know whether it's professional to do that.
It depends. It's a potential employer, correct?
Yeah, potential employer.
It depends how. Make sure your message is very. You can message them, but make sure your message is professional, and it doesn't. It doesn't sound. What did you message them? Did you already message, or are you thinking of messaging them?
No, no, no. I haven't messaged them.
Okay, okay, okay.
I'll send it to you before I deliver that.
Okay, yeah. Do that because I know my brother messages like my brother. I don't really use LinkedIn as much for my job search, but my brother does, and he does message employers. But the way that you message them, you can't ask too much. You just ask them little things to try to lead up to like just to see, just ask for like advice or for help. It's better to ask them than just asking them for a job or anything like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you. What I plan doing is I plan working on a project where I see they have a deficiency in their component. So I'll give them a link to the project. So I think that's far better than just a profile.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. That's actually not that. That's really good to do, especially to give them a link to the potential project. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, hello. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, yeah, concerning what Jayola said, sometimes they might actually recommend some solutions for these people, and they may just take your solution and give it to their team to do. So how do you manage the information you give out to them?
Oh, okay. You're right. In terms of that, that's pretty hard to say because you never know when they'll do that. So maybe my recommendation would be instead of, because they could easily, you're right, they could easily steal your idea. I'm not quite sure. I can talk to Aaron about it and see what he recommends. In that case, because you're right, a lot of these companies can easily steal your idea and not give you credit for it, and that does happen often. So I'll ask him what he thinks about that.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'll get back to both of you on that one. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Again, I hope this was helpful in some way.
Thank you so much. It was really helpful.
You're welcome. Thank
Yeah, it
you.
was really, really, really.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.